Welcome to your updated information about the Bat family. I hear you're joining the team. Supposedly we're not supposed to have any more members because Bruce adopts so many kids. But guess what? You're joining. So here we go. First segment. Let's talk about the second Robin. Not the first, but the second. Jason Todd. Jason Todd is a wonderful, great asshole of a brother of mine. And I love him. He joined the Bat family on a whim by stealing the wheels off of a Batmobile. The Batmobile. I say a Batmobile because Batman has like 20, but that's beside the point. So anyways, Jason Todd, this guy, handsome, asshole, crowbar, you'll see why. Anyways, so Jason stole the Batmobile, not the Batmobile, well he did that one time too actually, but we're not getting into that. Anyways, so he stole the wheels off the Batmobile, and Bruce saw him, and he was like, what are you doing, kid? And he's like, I need money, and these wheels are expensive. And Bruce is like, potential. At the time, I had quit being Robin. It's a whole thing. I didn't like Bruce at the moment. Actually, I don't like him sometimes now, but he's dad, so whatever. So he goes and steals the Batmobile's wheels. God, that's so hard to say. Batmobile's wheels. So the Batmobile's wheels. So Jason took off the Batmobile's wheels. And then there was a thing where Bruce was like, you should be a Robin because I had quit. But whatever, it was stupid. But he was like, let's take him in. So he brought Jason in. And me and Jason, we did not get along at all. In fact, Bruce was like, I'm going to move him into your room. And I'm like, what do you mean my room? And he's like, yeah, like you're not here anymore. You quit being Robin. You're off being the Titans and being whatever you are. At the time, I was still kind of Robin, but like in the process of becoming Nightwing, but being Starfire. I haven't really talked about that name yet. But anyways, it's a long story. Anyways, so back to Jason. Jason was like, I'm going to be Robin and be so cool. But like Bruce was like, all right, yeah, you're a great Robin. But then he like almost killed a guy. And there's like a hint that he might have killed a guy. But that's beside the point. We're not going into that right now. Alleged. So then Jason goes, he becomes a Robin, he's doing a great job, supposedly, I don't know what I heard. And he's very aggressive, very angry. Because, he's pissed off. Well, so his parents, his mom, basically did a lot of drugs and she was like screwing all these guys and like Jason was like walking in there and he's like, Mama. And this dad's like, fuck you kid, I'm gonna fuck your mom. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he like accidentally pushes him off the stairwell and then he dies and he's like, yeah, you deserve to die, bitch. And so he died. Fast forward, and then, oh wait, hold on. So backtrack a little bit. So then his dad was like nowhere to be found because he worked for the Penguin and he ended up getting arrested by the Penguin. Or not arrested by the Penguin, arrested by the police because of the Penguin, because Penguin set him up. So he had no dad in his life and that's why his mom was basically being a whore. Yeah. Anyways, so back to him being a Robin. So he's a Robin, he's doing his thing, and then he was trying to like overly prove himself because he thought that he had to prove himself to Bruce, but I don't know why. Because he was like, I have to be good like Dick because Dick's the prodigal son, and not prodigal son. Dick is the best son ever. I mean, I am.
Word for word, that's what he said.
Something like that. I don't know because Bruce apparently talked about me a lot, but that's his fault. So Jason tried to be me, and he dyed his hair to look like me. He kind of wanted to be me. He wore my suit for a little bit. It was just weird because that's just awkward. Anyways, so he did everything like me, or at least he tried to, except he couldn't get that double backflip that I tried to teach him, but he didn't want to learn from me. He wanted to do it his own way, but that's beside the point. Anyways, so he goes off and does his own thing, and then he's like, I'm going to go beat the Joker. Well, during this process of him trying to beat the Joker ended up kidnapping his mom, and so he wanted to go save his mom and help her out. Well, Bruce was like, okay, don't go after the Joker, you can't really handle him. And he's like, no, I can do this shit. And since he wanted to prove himself, he's like, I'm going to go after him. So he goes after him, gets there before Batman does, sees his mom tied up, and he's like, Mama! And then she's like, now, son. No, actually, she's a bitch, and she totally tricked him and was actually working for Joker the whole entire time. Ends up getting caught by the Joker, beat to death with a crowbar, and then the whole building explodes.
That's not entirely accurate.
The whole
She wasn't beat to death first.
She wasn't beat to death. He was beat to death.
No, he died in the explosion the first time.
Okay, so Jason showed up to try to save his mom, and then he realized that his mom betrayed him and that she was actually working for the Joker the whole entire time. Spoiler alert. So when Jason goes and tries to beat the Joker, he ends up getting beat to death with a crowbar, or almost to death with a crowbar, and then the whole building explodes. So Batman ends up showing there like 30 seconds too late and sees Jason dead on the ground. So then, after Jason dies, right, he wills himself back to life and crawls outside of the out of the grave, and then is like mindless for a little bit. Ra's al Ghul ends up finding him, or technically Talia, ends up finding him, finding out that he's not completely dead, grabs him, steals him, takes him back to the island, caters him, notice that he's like reacting to like people like trying to fight him and can like react that way, but during this time he's actually not able to be verbal or even remember who he is or his past or Bruce or me or anyone. But then Talia's like, I have a great idea. I'm going to throw him in the Lazarus pit and get all of his memories back. So she throws him in the Lazarus pit, gets his memories back. He goes insane for a little bit. Then she fucks him for whatever reason. Then Talia explains to Jason, hey, Bruce didn't kill the Joker after he killed you. And Jason was like, okay, that's fucked up. So then he goes off and becomes the Red Hood. The Red Hood is originally the Joker's original name before he became the Joker, supposedly, but then no one can actually prove that, but that's a thing. Anyway, so Jason Todd comes back as the Red Hood and tries to get vengeance on all of the Bat family. Now you're asking, isn't he on our side? That's true, he is. See, after like years and years and years of trying to kill all of us, then he realizes, I think the Lazarus pit also wore off a little bit in the meantime, but ends up getting his like soul back more like, and tries to help us out. He realizes that just being an asshole isn't going to fix everything. So he ends up helping us out some here and there, and Bruce and him all have like a lot of fighting where they end up breaking each other's noses on several occasions, and then like there's a part where Joker kidnaps all of us and tries to rip all of our faces supposedly, and then doesn't rip all of our faces off, but like makes it look like he ripped our faces off, but then that didn't happen. So it was the whole thing, and then him and Tim kind of got close together right there, and then Barbara and Jason got close together, and then me and him were still fighting for a while, and then he joined up with a team called Red Hood and the Outlaws, and it was Starfire and Arsenal. Yes, he fucked my ex, but that's by the point. We're not going to talk about that. But then he also, Starfire fucks Arsenal, but that's, no, we're not going to get into that. Jason ends up joining another team, Artemis and Bizarro, and becomes Red Hood and the Outlaws ×2, and then hangs out with them for a little bit, but then he realizes that he needs to, like, make himself better, so he tries to do better, and he's trying to, like, not kill people, but then he kills someone, and it's this little boy's dad, and he's like, damn, I just made an orphan. What am I going to do with him? Then he makes an orphan out of his kid, and then he was like, what am I going to do with this kid? And Bruce shows up, and he's like, what did you do? He's like, I killed this kid's dad. And he's like, what? And he's like, yep. And then he was like, Bruce was like, fuck you. And I was like, I know, I don't know what to do. And he's like, that's why I called you. Well, technically I called Barbara and told her to call you. So I need you to help me out. So then Bruce was like, all right, look, stop killing people. And Jason was like, I guess. So then eventually later there's a whole thing, and then me and Jason had our whole brotherly moment at the circus. That was kind of fun, but we couldn't tell each other like how we actually felt about each other. And later on we had another brotherly moment, but we couldn't really, it's brothers, it's difficult. Anyway, so Jason works for us now, and we're all happily, and everything's great, and he doesn't kill anybody anymore, I don't think. Hopefully. I mean, there was that one time where I thought he almost killed somebody because it was on like national TV, but then we realized that wasn't him, that was somebody else that was actually made to look like him, but that's not the point. So when you see Jason, say hi.